Okay, welcome to the next session. So as we're doing these yoga sessions, what I'm trying to do as well is give you different options in terms of breath work and stretches. Often these practices would be 1 hour at least. So in a half hour we can get quite a bit done. So we've already done a few of them, and I'll remind you once again, the main thing that you're doing is bringing awareness, presence to your body and to your breath, and at the same time not resisting whatever arises inside of you, allowing it to be there. The same as you would when you're doing body scan meditation or any other form of meditation. So the breath is the key to the practice. I'm going to be sitting while I guide you in lying down breath work. So if you can take a moment now and lie down on your back, find the mat. And again, two options. You can lie down in regular Shavasana, legs extended with the palms up, or you could lie down with your knees bent and your feet flat, lining up the hip bones to the knees to the heels, so it's a straight line. And I would suggest that position if you're feeling a little more stress in the body or tightness in the stomach, which also is related to what's called the psoas muscle, or the muscle of trauma. I don't have time to explain that right now, but it's a good one to look up on how to release that. So we're lying down. Become aware of your body, lying there, supported by the floor. And then become aware of how the breath is rising and falling at the belly. So we're progressing into deep diaphragmatic breathing. As you begin, don't try too hard. Just simply be aware the diaphragm drops, the belly expands, the diaphragm goes back up, the belly releases. Your attention is there, witnessing the rise and fall of the belly. And now we'll start to go a little deeper. So the belly is expanding. Once the belly feels full, you still have your whole chest. So as the belly fills up, then the breath passes the solar plexus up into the sternum, filling up towards the collarbone. And here you're using a little bit of force. You're purposely trying to physically open your breath. Okay, this is not a breath we would use normally for deep relaxation. It would be a breath we would use beforehand. So you're filling to the top, and then you're emptying from the top all the way down to the bottom like a wave going through your body. As you do that, notice, where am I holding the internal tension? Is it in my stomach, my chest, my right or left rib cage, or my back? Witnessing these tensions if they're there. Just witnessing them. Nothing to change. As the breath comes and goes. As well, make sure that the face muscles are disengaged, the mouth is relaxed, the jaw is let go, the forehead and the eyes are relaxed. And then for the last 3 breaths, you're going to fill all the way up and then release with a long sigh out your mouth. You can kind of just purse the lips or round them out. So deep inhale, and letting everything go. Doing that 2 more times. Finishing the breath you're on. And once you finish the breath, pause and just simply observe your body. Let yourself breathe normally as you observe from head to toe. The act of observing your body fills the body with prana. As it says, wherever the attention goes, the energy flows. So it's your attention, and your attention is your consciousness or your awareness that normally is being disassociated all the time from chronic thinking or sensations in the body. And what you're doing is you're bringing it all into the body without having to do anything else. And that alone will release so much tension over time. The second breath we'll do before we start into the stretches is called Sushumna breathing, or central energy channel breathing in yoga. This breath has many forms. We'll do just one basic form. So notice where your spine is in your body as you're lying there. Just try to make contact with the spine through your attention. And imagine that there's a tube that goes basically from the tip of your tailbone, or you could say the pelvic floor, all the way up just inside or just in front of the spinal column in the body, all the way through the neck, into the brain, to the top of your head, what's called the crown chakra. So this line is the largest meridian in the body, and there's many, many ways of working up and down the Sushumna channel. So maybe at another time we'll go deeper into that. What you're going to do is go back to a smooth breath, not quite as deeply exaggerated as you were doing in the diaphragmatic breath. Just find a smooth flow up and down through the breath. And as you do it, begin to connect that breath to the spine or this imaginary tube. It's not really imaginary, but if you imagine it, that can be helpful. I mean, it exists because it's an energy channel. And you're just simply going to try to sense that. So as I begin my inhale, I place my attention at the tip of my tailbone or somewhere around the pelvic floor. And then I inhale all the way up, observing the spine or just in front, all the way through the neck. And as you enter the brain, go straight up to the crown of your head. Pausing there for about 1 or 2 seconds, holding the attention at the crown. And then exhale, go all the way back down the channel, almost like you're flushing it out. And if you're a visual person, it can be helpful to add the visualization of the channel or the energy going up and down. Okay, so maybe there's a certain color that resonates for you as a healing color, then visualize that filling you up. Now this channel, it fills up all the other channels, so when it's circulating, a lot of other energetic effects begin to happen inside the body. And this is just the most basic form. This channel goes through every chakra in the body, and the chakras are actually concentrated more on the spine than they are on the outside of the body. And let's work a few more of those breaths, inhaling through the center. And remember that you can slightly roll your eyes up as you approach the head, and that brings more energy to the brain or the upper 2 chakras. The next time that you inhale all the way up to the top of the head, hold your attention there and breathe normally. And see if you can sense your crown. The crown chakra being one of the largest energy gateways in the body. And then from here on your next exhale, breathe down and out your arms and your legs, letting everything go. And then notice your entire body. And what you will probably notice is you can sense the life in the body more than you could at the beginning, which is the result of focused breath work. So let's go into the practice. We're going to remain on our backs to begin. And I'll take us into one of my favorite yin stretches, which is called banana posture, for opening the side of your body. So we're lying here spread out. I'll remind you again, when I'm doing a yin stretch, I'm not flexing, I'm not trying, I'm allowing things to open. And so these particular stretches are designed where you won't really be flexing the target muscle, which allows then the tendons and ligaments to relax. And this is probably my favorite side bend. So we're going to take the right leg and slide it off the mat to the right a little bit, and then I'll take my left heel like this and sit it on my right ankle. Now, before we go to the second part, just get your legs in position where you're far enough over that you feel a nice stretch in your left hip, but your left bum cheek is still flat on the mat. And the top leg is straight but not locked. Then you bring your arms above your head like this, and you're going to work your upper body over to the right as well. Hence banana posture, bending like a banana. As I come over, then I can leave the arms dangling here, or I can take the right hand and grab the left elbow
and open that way. And go over far enough so that you feel a continuous stretch from the outside of your left knee right up to your left armpit tricep area. The head should be neutral, so maybe you'll turn it a bit to the left. And that's all you do. Once you're in the position, you surrender and begin to become aware of the breath going up and down the left side of the body. And as I mentioned, these stretches usually are held for at least a minute in order to get the opening on the connective tissue. So once again, you're in meditation, you're concentrated, observing, and the object of observance is the whole left side of your body as well as the breath. And at the same time, you're not trying to do anything, you're just letting it happen. And bit by bit, the left side of your body is opening and elongating. Because of that approach, this practice and these stretches would be non-dual. There's nothing to do except to be with what's occurring in the stretch. The most important part of the practice is always your awareness that you're building or making contact with. Now, before you come out of it, just notice the tightest point on this side of your body and focus your attention at that point as you breathe. Again, without trying to change it, just simply bringing some presence to that area. The presence itself will release the tension automatically with practice. And finishing this breath, we're going to come back to center, unwind your legs, bring your arms down, and notice the difference between the left and right side in sensation right now. And you'll probably notice how one side feels more alive and circulating. Same thing on the other side, the left leg goes over a little ways, right heel on top. You're going to extend your right leg, but not lock it. And once you feel a good stretch here in the right hip and you've got the right glute on the mat, then the upper body comes in. I'm going to reach up and then bend my body over to the left side, which is going to then open the right side. Either dangling the arms there wherever you like, or hold on to your right elbow and then completely surrender your body into the mat. And if you don't think the stretch is quite deep enough, you can always go over just a tiny bit more. But once you're in the stretch, there's nothing to do except let go and begin to observe the right side of your body as you breathe up and down. Continuing to keep the face muscles relaxed, the eyes, the jaw. And remember, whenever you get pulled into your mind, and this will definitely happen, all you have to do is find your breath, which is always here. So no matter how many times you have to do that, never get frustrated. Just recognize when you're gone and come back. And now noticing the tightest point on the right side, take 2 conscious breaths into that area. And then after you release this breath, unwind your body back to center. Arms come down. Noticing both sides of your body. And noticing the sensation of energy, what that feels like. The more calm you are and the more present you are, then automatically the more prana that you'll feel circulating. Whereas stress is the most detrimental. Stress and fear locks us up on every level, disconnects us from our own awareness and our own body. The most important thing we'll ever learn how to do is de-stress and learn how to come back here. Everything else will take care of itself. Next, we're going to do an opening for each leg, and then whatever time we have left, we'll do a little upper body. So I'm going to take my left knee to center, like this. Now, what I'm about to show you is a little stronger of a stretch. It's actually a fascia stretch, but it will open up even more energy. So a fascia stretch is a little different than a yin stretch, which releases tendons and ligaments, because the fascia has to be released actively. So I'll give you an example. And again, don't force it, just do your best here. You're going to raise the left leg up, grab the back of your knee, and the more you straighten your knee here, obviously right away, the more intense the stretch is. You can feel that. So you're going to straighten your knee to whatever is reasonable, and then I'm going to pull the entire left foot to my shin and open my toes as wide as I can, and at the same time bend my ankle to the outside. Just a little movement to the outside, and then push out of your heel. And as you're holding this, your chin is tucked in, so your spine is lengthened, and you're going to feel a very deep stretch from your heel down through the calf, knee, hamstring, into the back of the hip. And we're holding this. Make sure you keep your breath relaxed, inhaling up and down the back of your leg. Fascia stretch is held for generally 20 to 30 seconds. And then the next part of it, I'm going to point the foot straight up to the ceiling deeply and bend the foot inwards while I do it, and basically breathe up and down the front of your leg now, noticing the fascia stretch from the top of the foot all the way down the leg into the front top of the hip. Keep your breath regulated. These are fairly strong stretches. And then roll the ankle around a few times. And we're going to exhale, bring the left knee to center, and then we'll take one more stretch here. We're going to put the leg out like this. This is a hip opener. I can take my right hand and grab my left foot, and the more I pull it towards me at 90 degrees here on the shin, the more I'm in the hip opener. So I can take my left hand and actually push slightly as I pull in with the right hand. It's a fairly deep stretch, and as you're holding that, you could even just go very gently side to side, like an inch or two, breathing into the outside of your hip. And don't do anything that your body doesn't want to do. This is a little bit of a stronger stretch than I've been doing in the other parts of the practice. And then release. Release your leg. And now notice the difference between the left leg and the right leg. It'll be very apparent. When you stretch the fascia, you're stretching the highway of energy. The fascia is loaded with energy. And the meridians in many ways follow the fascia, or follow through the fascia. And then we'll switch legs. The right knee comes to center. I'm going to raise the right leg to the ceiling, extending. Now for me, I feel it more on this side where I've had some injuries, so you'll probably notice one side is different than the other. The more you lock your knee, the more intense it is, and then once you're in that position, what's reasonable for you, you pull the right foot to your shin, open your toes as wide as you can, and bend the ankle to the outside as you push out of your heel. Tuck your chin in, opening the back of the skull, and then close the eyes and breathe up and down the back of your right leg. It's always the breath. The breath is the highway that you attach your attention to. And it will allow you to remain present in the body, regardless of what sensations arise. And then the second part, toes pointed to the ceiling or the entire foot, and then point inwards, so you're stretching open the fascia right across the top of the foot, down the shin. Begin to breathe from the foot to the top of your hip, in the front of the leg. Keeping the jaw relaxed. In these kind of stronger stretches, you'll notice that the propensity might be there to hold your breath. And you're training yourself to keep the breath smooth regardless of what's going on. And then roll the ankle around a few times. And then exhale the right knee to your chest. And then take your time. You're going to grab the right foot with your left hand. The right hand is going to come into the front of the knee, and so I'm pulling with the left hand and gently pushing with the right hand. And then you can move very slowly side to side, just very slowly, not far, as you breathe into your hip. Breath is regulated. Finishing one more breath, and then we'll release the leg out. And we're going to take the hands and place them on the hip bones. Bring all of your attention to your hip bones as you breathe. Imagine you're filling up your hip bones as you inhale. And as you exhale, follow your attention down and out your legs like a wave. And really notice the exhale. Can you sense the prana going down the legs as you build your attention? Okay, and then we'll finish that last breath and we'll have time to do a little bit of work higher up on the mat. So we're going to roll into fetal posture just for a breath or two. And then making our way up, we're going to come into the cat-cow position. Make sure the mic is not going to get stretched too far. So this is one that most of you know if you've done any kind of yoga. So what I do when I come into cat-cow is I have my hands shoulder-width apart. So you would want to make sure that the hands, the base of your wrist is underneath your shoulder, or in that general area, and then the knees are below the hips, and I'll curl the toes under. So that way my hands would be a little bit wider than my knees, and I'm kind of squaring my back off here. There's a lot of slight variation, so we'll just do this. As I inhale, I'm allowing the torso to drop through the arms a little bit, and then I'm going to inhale up, reaching up to my chin, opening my throat, squeezing my shoulder blades together, and arching my back. And as I exhale, I push down into the hands and knees, bowing my back, rounding out the back, opening the shoulder blades, and just begin to work that. Now remember, you don't have to do anything. Just simply follow your breath. Your breath will do the whole movement for you. You don't have to think. Something else you can add is as you exhale, you could even try flexing your abs a little bit and pulling your belly button in. Your object of awareness is the entire movement. So you're meditating while you're in motion. Coming back through, then we'll do a release for the arms. I'll come out of this and I'll either sit on my heels or cross-legged. Either way is fine. We've got just over 5 minutes left here. So let's release also the arms. We'll do a fascia stretch here. So I'm going to bring the shoulders up and over. Whenever I want to release the arms or the neck, I want to bring the shoulders in place. You don't want to be slouched. So I'm up and over. Then I'll take my palms, open the fingers wide, bring them out like this, and pull the hands back and push, as though you're holding 2 walls away. And keep the shoulders stabilized in the socket, and then you're breathing from the shoulder to the base of your wrist, up and down.
Keep the hands expanded and keep pulling the hands back. One more breath. And then the next part of the release for the arms, I'm going to take my fingers and clamp them onto my thumb like a beak and pull down deeply underneath the wrist and then push. And now you're again breathing from the shoulders to the top of the wrist. Keeping everything relaxed, following the breath, always following the breath. And then exhale down. And before we do a couple minutes of integration, again, sitting cross-legged or on your heels, stack up your spine. And we'll just do one more pranayama here. This is another breath. I try to give you a few different breaths you can use as needed and just find out what works best for you. This is a great one when you're just going about your day, and if you feel tension arising or your mind is really busy or you're feeling stressed, what you'll do is inhale about 80% full, pause, and then finish with a strong sip through your nose like you're filling all the way up. And then when you exhale, just let it roll out of you. You don't have to do anything. So it would look like this, inhaling, pause a moment, deep sip all the way up, and then let it go. Either out the mouth or nose. Let's do two more. So this is a reset breath. Notice that your exhale is passive, your inhale is controlled, but the exhale, you just witness the breath leave your body. And one more. After you finish that breath, simply notice, again, the prana in the body. And when you're doing that breath, you could pause if you want as well. So once you take that sip, you could hold your breath for 1 to 5 or longer seconds and then let it go. Okay, now lie back down on your back. We've just got a couple minutes to integrate. So find your mat lying either in Shavasana or with your knees bent, feet flat, hip bone apart. I'll wait a moment till you're down there. And then simply notice the entire body from head to toe. Once again, the eyes are closed. This would be an ideal time to do a deep body scan as well on your own at some other point. After you've worked the body like this, then we're ripe for sinking in. And also, we're ripe for going back into meditation and sitting. As you're noticing your body, imagine that your body is actually fluid energy. Imagine that your skin is like a shell, like a translucent shell, and everything inside is nothing more than circulating energy, which is actually much closer to the truth if you were to look at quantum mechanics, or if you were to look at a lot of different philosophies on energy and how it works. They've proven that our bodies are really just made of energy. So it's a grand illusion. See if you can experience yourself just as energy, as fluid, circulating life force, moving through the legs, the torso, the arms, shoulders, neck, head, and brain, witnessing the feeling level of energy. And just by doing that, you can move a lot of blocked energy from the body. It's the mind that holds the blockages in the body, often happening out of the level of consciousness. And so we think it's physical, but much of it is happening from the mental plane and the emotional plane. And the result is then presented in the body. And we'll take 3 more deep breaths. As we did in the other practice, you're going to inhale and imagine as you inhale, you expand out, your body doubles or triples in size, and as you exhale, it breathes back in. So the entire body, every pore and every cell expanding and releasing with the inhale and the exhale. Finishing the breath you're on, we'll get ready to close. Taking your time, we're going to roll over to one side or the other in fetal posture and then make your way up. And you can sit again on the cushion when you're up here, or you could sit on your heels as I'm still doing. Once you're upright, find your alignment. Remember the sit bones is your base, and then the shoulders are not slouched, they're up and over, and the chin is drawn in slightly. Using your intention and your presence for this last movement, clearing yourself out, we're going to bring the arms out to the side. Inhaling up, gathering. Exhaling down, sweeping through the body and around the body. Bringing in a visualization if that's helpful for you. The most important thing is to remain present and feeling. This is not a technique. There's no right way to do this. It's an intuitive process. Finishing the breath that you're on, letting all of that go. The next time up, the hands come in prayer posture, sinking down in front of the heart. Taking a moment here, focused at the heart, or perhaps there's an intention or prayer that naturally comes to you. And then we'll close the practice, taking a bow. Namaste. Thank you.